Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, we're going to talk about the DoEvents command. This allows you to yield execution to other processes, right? Let the database do other stuff during your loops in Microsoft Access. Now, this is obviously going to be a developer level video, so you're going to have to know some VBA. If you've never done any VBA programming before, go watch this video. It's free. It's on my YouTube channel. Teaches you everything you need to know in about 20 minutes. We're going to also use a for next loop. We're going to use the if-then statement. And we're going to declare some variables. So if you're not familiar with any of these topics, go watch these videos. You'll find links down below. Okay, so I recently released this template called the Access Object Size Analyzer, and you can use this to analyze the different sizes of objects inside your database. For example, what tables are what size, how big are they, how much space they're taking up on the disk, what forms are big, what reports are big, so on. This doesn't matter though, but what I did do is with this, I released a tool, which is this guy, that I included a button so you can create 1,000,000 records in your customer table. All right, and that would allow you to test to see once you take that table and add 1,000,000 records to it, you can then use the other tool to see how big that is. Well, I had 1,000,000 people ask me, they found this tool and they're looking at it and they're like, what is this DoEvents thing? Because if you look in the code here, all right, we got this command right there called DoEvents. All right, what does that do? Well, DoEvents basically allows you to say, okay, I'm running a loop right now because I'm running a loop from 1 to 1,000,000, right? And I'm going to walk you through this code in just a second. I'm running a loop from 1 to 1,000,000. And if you just do this, okay, and even if you write stuff on the screen, nothing might appear to happen unless you tell Access, hey, go ahead, you can do whatever you got to do. Screen updates, let other processes run, and so on, okay? And it doesn't necessarily even have to be a loop. If you've got, let's say, 10 action queries that you're running in order, all right, you got delete query, an import query, an append query, whatever, a whole bunch of code, stuff that executes one after the other. Well, if you don't allow the operating system, allow Access to take control for a second to update the screen and do stuff, your database might seem like it locks up. So let me take you from the beginning. All right, let me close this database down. I'm going to use a fresh copy of my Tech Help template. All right, there it is. Copy that there. Now, this guy already has DoEvents built into it using this thing called a status function. All right, go into the Hello World button, and you'll see it says status and then Hello World, okay? And then it has DoEvents right there. What we're going to do right now is we're going to rem out that DoEvents just so you can see what happens, okay? All right, now I'm going to come down here. Here's status Hello World. Let's instead do a count from 1 to 1,000. Okay, so I'm going to say dim x as a long for x equals 1 to 1,000. There's my for loop, right? Next, and we'll say here x is and the value of x. All right, so I want to loop from 1 to 1,000. All right, now this is without DoEvents in place. So I'm going to save that, come back over here, and click the button. All right, and it goes pretty fast. All right, let's make that 10,000. Come back out here, change that to 10,000, save it, come back in here, click go. And okay, it paused for a second there. All right, let's make that 50,000. Trying to find a sweet spot here. Ready, click. And it's taking its time, and the system seems locked. Nothing is updating. And if you try to click somewhere else, look what happens. See, it goes to not responding. If I click on it again, see if you get that familiar white, the application's not responding. You got to sit here. Your user thinks the database is frozen, even though it's working in the background. All right. Yeah, and finally, when it's done, then it takes over and it displays it. All right. Basically, this loop takes over the whole application. All of Access is frozen. Okay, now, if I put the DoEvents back into play, okay, now what happens? Click, and you can see every step. See, every iteration's running there. All right, now the problem with this is that writing data to the screen is one of the slowest things you can do. It takes a lot of processor time to write to the screen. So you can see now I'm only on 3,000. I got to wait for 50,000 before this loop is finished. This will actually run faster if you don't display every record. All right, so let me abort this. Let me just close the form. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to say, I don't want to see every record. Maybe put something on the screen every 1,000 records. Okay. So what I'm going to say in here is I'm going to say if x mod 1000 equals 0, then do the status. What is mod? Mod is the remainder. It stands for modulus. It's the remainder after a division, right? So 10 mod 3 is 1 because 10 divided by 3 is 3 with 1 left over. So what you're saying is if you want to check to see if it's any interval of a number, 1,000, 3, 50, 500, just mod that number, right? Mod your number by whatever interval you're looking for. And if the remainder is 0, then you've got, in this case, an even 1,000. All right, save it, come back out here, close it, open it up, click, and now you're only going to see it went by much, much faster. You're only going to see iterations every 1,000. Okay. Additionally, you might have long processes that, let's say this is, in the case from my last example, I did 1,000,000 records. Let's see, that's 100,000. There's 1,000,000. And this will take a while to run if we click, right? All right. No, not that long. It's actually pretty fast. When you're only displaying every 1,000th one. But in my loop, what I did was I used a record set in here to add records to this table. All right, so let's make this 10 million. See. All right, yeah, it's gonna take a little while to run now. Okay, and the only way to abort this is to close the form and get the error message. Okay, so I like to give my users a way to abort large loops like that as well, and we can do that with a little field. I'll put a little checkbox on here. All right, let's grab a checkbox. I'll put it right there. We'll call this guy abort. All right, let's make it so we can actually see it. Come here. Go white. Give the name of the checkbox. We'll call the name of the checkbox abort. And I'm going to make it visible no. So by default, you don't see that there. Okay, when this form loads up, you will not see the abort box because it has no meaning at this point. So when we click on hello world, when we start that loop, all right, first thing we're going to do in here is we're going to say abort.visible equals true. And then when it's over, abort.visible equals false. Okay, now inside the loop here, we need a way to check to see if the users clicked on abort. And actually what we should do is when the loop starts, we should also set the value of abort, right? Abort itself equals false. Okay, that way if they've clicked on it in a previous loop, you want to set it back to false again. All right, so right in here, we're going to say if abort, remember the default is if abort equals true. We can just say if abort, then I want to exit out of my for loop, right? Exit for. That just jumps out of the for loop. And if you're in multiple for loops, it jumps out of the innermost one. Okay? So now save it, close it, open it, ready, click. All right, there's my abort box. And at any moment, I can go click to abort. Oh, can't hide a control that is focus. That's another thing you got to keep into consideration. Debug that, right? When the user clicks on the abort button, the abort checkbox, that guy's going to be visible at that moment, right? You can't make a field that has the focus invisible. So we got to jump the focus somewhere else. So let's put it back on the abort on the button here. What's the name of that button? It's the hello world button. So we'll do this. Watch. We'll take this guy. Right before that command, we'll go this guy dot set focus. Okay. And then we'll come in here. We'll close that. We'll save it. We'll go do it. And abort. Oh, look at that. Pretty cool. Right? Click. And abort. And this is all possible because of a do events inside of our loop, right? Because the status is what writes this stuff out to that little box, right? All it does is it says take an S, put S in there with a new line character in the status box. I cover building this in more detail in my blank template video. I'll put a link to this down below as well. You can go watch it. And that's where DoEvents comes in. But I really don't explain DoEvents in great detail in that video, nor why you'd need it. So I'm trying to impress upon you why you'd want this. If you've got any sequence of events that runs, one after the other, then you want to include a DoEvents in your loop somewhere, or in your sequence of events. Or you can go like, run query 1, DoEvents, run query 2, DoEvents, and so on. Just so the user doesn't think that your database froze up. So that's DoEvents. If you like this kind of stuff, check out my Access developer lessons. I got tons and tons. I got hours and hours. I think I'm up to like 44 or 43, somewhere in that range. I try to release a new one every month. But yeah, I teach you all you need to know about programming in VBA one step at a time. So developer 1, developer 2, and so on. And by the end, you'll be as good as me. And I make no guarantees about that. I've got 30 years of making lots and lots of mistakes. I've got very few hairs left since I pulled most of them out trying to solve problems in Access over the course of my life. So yeah. But that is DoEvents. Why you'd want to use it, when you should use it, what it's good for, and all that stuff. That's your tech help video for today, folks. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.